This is a podcast from the Angel News Network with author Joel Anastasi interviewing Ashtar, commander of the Galactic Federation of Light, as channeled by Phillip Elton Collins.
Greetings, Earthlings. This is Captain Ashtar of the Galactic Federation of Light in concert with the Inner Earth Council. You may recall our last meeting, dear ones, atop Mount Shasta at your important sacred journey to assist humanity's evolution along with the evolution and ascension of the planet. These are times of turmoil. These are times of nuclear risk, not unlike the past. As you know, we of the higher realms are not allowed to interfere with the free will and choices of humanity. There is one exception, and that exception being if the planet herself is in peril. And at this time, your world seems to be ruled by toxic masculinity, and so we of the various councils have decided it is time to intervene. This time of intervention is a representative of the 12 star systems that seeded your planet. So there is a consciousness and an intention from each one of those systems as various advanced civilizations begin to appear. We of the Galactic Federation are keeping a cosmic view as the Inner Earth civilization is keeping an immediate view of what is going on with your planet. Something never before happening is taking place at this time. The event that I'm about to describe that many of you are aware of and you have been discussing is the creation of a new Earth in combination with the old Earth. See it as two cells, two organisms reproducing, and one is of a higher vibration and the other is of a lower density vibration. So within your personal choices and your freedom of will, your Earthlings, you individuals of the Earth will be making a decision whether to be a part of the new higher vibration and frequency of the new Earth, which is founded upon equality, harmony, and balance, and the old Earth, which pretty much represents the way things are right now. There are many civilizations, again, at play here, representing the 12 star systems, but quickly, they are the Inner Earth civilizations, which I have mentioned, and they are the galactic and planetary and solar system systems as well. There are many activities taking place on the planet to prepare for advanced civilizations to come forward to assist you in making better choices. One of them is the channel that we're coming through, who has created a screenplay, which will be a film that will begin a preamble and introduction to the Inner Earth civilizations coming forward. They have been waiting for the consciousness and the awakening of humanity to come forward, and or in combination with the threats to the planet herself. There are approximately 5 advanced civilizations on the surface of your planet at a time, 3 of them being fairly benevolent, and those in the process of making themselves aware as well. There's also a mothership coming into your solar system at this time, which many of you are aware, which also represents one of the star systems that seed the planet, the Palladians, and they have been recognized as an advanced vessel headed your way. So there are many, many activities taking place, and it is important for you to realize as a human species that all of we who help seed the planet, all of we who help monitor the planet, as well as some beings on what you call your moon, all of these are beginning to get organized for the councils that we are all a part of in order to assist you in making better choices in the advancement. Thus, the decision has been made. The best way possible to do that is to create a new Earth in combination with the old Earth and allowing you, again, through your freedom of choice and will, to decide which of those, through your own personal process and your own individuated evolutionary process and process with the ascension process of the planet herself, decide which of those activities you will be involved in, the new Earth or the old Earth. So in light of this brief introduction, we shall now open ourselves to questions that you might have at this time. How may I help you, Federation?
Well, this is Joel, of course, and I'm delighted that we are talking today. Um, as you well know, we're very concerned in the United States that we may be facing the collapse of the constitutional democratic order, the survival of our American democracy. Um, Many of the higher realms have pointed out that the imbalance of the masculine and the feminine energies has been the source of all the conflict and destruction of the societies of the past. And that imbalance seems to be out of control again today. So, in our own view, we need to have intervention from the higher realms, and we're delighted to hear that that kind of intervention seems to be in the planning. Can you tell us more about that? When is this intervention planned for?
Well, before we discuss when, not actually able to say exactly when, because we work within the now where there is no time. Remember, near unrecorded history, millions of your Earth years ago, there were nuclear wars where there were advanced civilizations which actually helped create what became humanity, were warring. There were many devastations upon the surface of the planet which allowed the creation of the inner Earth civilizations. Many of your civilizations, Lemurian, Atlantean, Mayan, Aztec, Hopi, early Egyptian, were given dispensations to create an advanced civilization at a higher frequency in the interior of the Earth called the Galactic network. There are actually over 120 civilizations in the interior of your planet. There are many who are aware of this. There are many who are not aware of it. At this point, it matters not who believes it and who doesn't believe it. All of these forces are coming together to prevent a nuclear holocaust of the past because of the imbalanced toxic masculinity, which seems to be prevalent in many key nations on the planet who have the possibility to destroy the surface of the planet once again. Does that help you?
Yes. Well, what can we look forward to, those who are concerned about the collapse of the democratic orders around the world?
It's a part, as that has been explained to you, of the clearing and cleansing that is necessary. And if that is a choice that you make for equality, harmony, and balance, then you are choosing to be a part of the new Earth where the democratic principles are alive and well. Can you see the choices that are being made, which are really the mandate for your species, that you will have a choice and you will have a consequence of the choices that you make? Does that help you?
Yeah, I understand that the creation of a new Earth, and that we have a choice. I don't understand how that would work. How will that choice be presented to us, and how would we move forward with that?
Through your consciousness, through being awake, you will simply realize that you are not resonating with the old, that you're resonating and discerning with the new. And based upon that, with the knowledge of actually a new Earth being created as an option, and being aware of that, you're allowed in your vernacular to know you have a place to go. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. In my earthly state of consciousness, of course, I don't really understand how that would work. You say that there would be a new Earth and an old Earth. Maybe I don't need to understand how that would work, but it is puzzling to me. I don't really understand how that would work.
Well, it's understandable that you don't understand because, as we discussed, it's never been done before. But simply see the planet dividing from the old and the new reproducing from the old, transcending, transmuting from the old, almost like how you learned in biology, two cells split to begin to create an organism. See them at present still connected in that division, but that process of the division from 1 to 2, as a cell would split in order to create an embryo in a human being, is in process. Does that help you?
So they would exist together at the same time on Earth, two different cultures?
They would not exist at the same time. They would be two different cultures, two different worlds that would exist simultaneously in what you call time.
Okay, I'm not going to get in the weeds with that because I probably would end up just confusing people. You know, all the higher realms, of course, work together, and Saint Germain is the guide of humanity's guide for the next 2,000 years. Saint Germain said something to me several years ago. He said that the consciousness of 2020 would be very different from the consciousness of 2030. Is this part of what's unfolding here?
Exactly. What he was revealing without being specific, and now we are being specific, of exactly what that means in what you call physicality. That there is an option, there is a choice, again, through your free will and choice, decide to be a part of the new earth. The earth that was originally intended by the 12 star systems that seeded, but through your free will and choices, which is not always given to every planet, but is part of this planet, you created something dense, not allowing the advancement and the ascension of the planet and humanity itself, which was originally intended. But through your free will and choice, you're still now being given a choice of what you will decide. For those who want to stay in the dense old, they will stay there and take the time they need to advance. They will ultimately advance. You will ultimately all evolve, is the nature of creation. But how and when and where you do that is your choice.
You are talking to someone who, of course, is a citizen of the United States, committed to democracy. I know that you're aware that in 2019, the channel Phillip Collins and I, Joel Anastasi, worked with Saint Germain to create a book called The Refounding of America that told the story that the mission of the United States was to bring equality, harmony, and balance to the world, and that was to begin with the United States, develop it there, and then bring that consciousness to the rest of the world. But that the United States was not fulfilling its mission, and Trump, as a divine soul, his mission was to threaten democracy, so that to rekindle the energy that was the foundation of the creation of the United States in the first place. And the last conversation we had with Saint Germain back in June says that Trump was fulfilling that mission perfectly. Well, is Trump getting? And he said that one day we would be grateful to Trump because the energy of America would have been rekindled. Is Trump sort of getting out of control now? So that's why the intervention that you're talking about is going to take place, because
intervention. Part of that intervention is now of the option of a new Earth. So all of the principles and the foundations of what you call the United States of America are based upon liberty, are based upon freedom. All of those will be captured, maintained, and sustained in the new Earth. So the evolutionary process of someone you call Trump will likely be a demonstration of the old. And many who continue to maintain and sustain that thinking, they will experience the consequences of that thinking, which will remain, they will remain in the density, the lower vibration. So it will be the higher vibration, the higher frequency that will be the manifesting forces of the new Earth. Does that help you?
Yes. In July 30th exactly, I had a conversation with Adama, who's the father of mankind, who said that the plan for this intervention currently was somewhere in the vicinity of 2027, although that was going to be that was subject to change. What about that timeline? What would you say about that?
Well, as you know, we do not work in the frequency of time or the dimension of time. So within your various calendars, it is challenging to be something specific. But to say in the latter part of your next coming year and the year after that is when these elements will begin to mature in a more forthright way. Can you imagine how your toxic leaders would respond if they were aware that there was something more powerful and more advanced than their thinking or their abilities, and the intention, the benevolent intention of those beings, be there from the inner earth or be there from elsewhere, or even from advanced species that are already on the planet, whose intention was for you to make a better choice and to assist in that, and really say to the frequency of the entire planet at large, if you choose to stay in the old, that is your option. If you choose to be in the higher frequency of the new, which supports the ascension of the planet itself, you also have that option. So, as you have heard many times before, the planet can ascend into a star being from whence it came originally. It came from the light. It will return to the light. That process can happen with or without humanity. What is happening now is to allow humanity to make a choice to assure being a part of that body of light.
Well, for the people who are listening to this, including me, what counsel would you give us about our next steps in dealing with the old and new frequencies that you're talking about?
Just continue to focus upon yourself, which many of you have been taught. Continue to raise your vibration, your frequency as high as possible. Continue to not be involved in the drama of the evolution of humanity itself. If you're choosing a higher frequency, focusing on the old allows you to remain in the old, making a decision to separate from that old, to create a parallel path into and bypassing but not intersecting the old earth. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense, but let's at least understand that that's confusing for many people, and often for me too. For example, as you well know, we had the massive No Kings demonstration last weekend with millions of Americans who were essentially protesting the move towards autocracy that we're seeing with the Trump administration. They're essentially saying no to this movement to autocracy. It's hard. So it's hard not to be involved when you care about the existence of our democracy. You can understand that, of course.
This is the counsel that we would give you at this time. Begin to think with your heart. You're trapped in your mind. Your heart has a DNA and frequency of the original star systems that see this planet, that knows and is aware of everything that is being discussed here. Begin to think with your heart, to make decisions from that, and allow that frequency, that vibration of that heart energy, based upon the foundation of love, which is the building block of all things in creation, allow you to steer you, to quiet the mental mind, which is filled with ego that has to know, and allow the process that things are being divinely in order, and that there are many benevolent advanced civilizations aware of the evolution of your planet. Remember, the experiment of planet Earth was to be a loviversity, to learn to master being and doing love, which you have not quite done yet. So there are many councils and many organizations and star realms and other advanced civilizations that have a lot at stake here in your vernacular. And to see your planet succeed into the new Earth can not only affect your planet, it can affect your entire solar system, it can affect your galaxy, it can affect other galaxies of the universes and multiverses in the whole world of creation. Do you understand?
Could you explain to our audience how what happens on Earth would affect the entire galaxy, etc.?
since they're a piece of all of that in this, in your vernacular, again, a piece of all of that in this, it affects their evolutionary process at all. Also, since they are an aspect of this, since there's a commitment and intention that was set in place with the original origin and creation of the planet. The planet is totally unique that all these star systems came together, that all of these advanced civilizations have hovered around it for millennia, not only to steal and mine natural riches from the planet itself, but also be a part of that journey, which is a journey of all of creation, not just humanity itself. Do you understand?
Would it be correct to say that because we are a part of all that is, what happens here affects all that is?
Exactly. It's the oneness principle. It's the entanglement. It's the quantum entanglement of all that there is. This planet is entangled into all of creation, as all things are, into the oneness principle. Everything comes from the same source. Does that make sense?
When I last spoke with the Dhamma on July 30th, that was the first time I had heard the term quantum entanglement, and he suggested I Google it. Would you just define for us, for our audience, what quantum entanglement is?
All things are related to one another because they are all from the same source. That's the most simplistic definition I can offer you.
So what happens here happens everywhere.
Exactly. And this is being proven in your natural sciences and your quantum sciences, which move beyond the physical, because most of the reality is unseen to you. You cannot see it because you're not at that vibrational level to be able to see it. And some of it, through your lack of consciousness, prevents you from seeing it. Whenever the Native Americans first saw the Europeans come in a ship, you've heard the story before, they could not see the ships because they had never seen anything like that. So it's a matter of having the ability through your consciousness and awareness and experience to know that it exists. But whenever you realize that most of reality, most of creation is unseen to you, that you're only seeing a fractal part of it, but yet it's all entangled. It's all connected from one original source. Call it the Creator, call it God, call it whatever you may in your various languages.
So would it be correct to say that as far as the consciousness that we, citizens of the United States, maintains through all this chaos would be to maintain a consciousness of peace, love, equality, harmony, and balance, just stay with that and let the evolution of consciousness take care of itself?
Exactly. Stay calm. Stay at peace. Try not to be right. Try not to be wrong. The most valuable thing is you can give yourselves in this evolutionary process is to remain calm and allow the process to transform.
You know, Ashtar, I'm going to ask you to do something that I've never asked another entity before, because when I always write some key points when I send this out of the discussion at hand, and I put a headline on it. Can I ask you to give me a little help with the headline? What headline would you put on our conversation? What's the message here?
What do you choose? What do you choose through free will and choice? To be a part of the new earth or to remain in the old? What resonates and what discerns for you as a human being with the current events that are taking place on the planet at this time? What do you resonate, discern with? Equality, harmony, and balance, or separation, duality, conflict, and chaos? Which do you support? Which do you wish to be a part of? What resonates for you within the concept of who you are and why you are here? Does that help you?
It absolutely does. I'm going to just ask you to do one more thing. There's always new people who are listening to these podcasts. Could you tell us who you, Captain Ashtar, are, what the Galactic Federation of Light is? And I think you said also that the Inner Earth civilizations were joining us on this. So would you just define who you all are for our audience?
Yes, there is a Galactic Federation. You're part of the galaxy called the Milky Way. Next to you is the Andromeda Galaxy and millions of others around you. We are part of one council for this specific galactic world, which holds many, many solar systems and many, many planets that have gone through various evolutionary process over millennia. So we have an ancient perspective about evolution, about choices, where to intervene, where we're allowed not to intervene. We share our wisdom through our long lives. Some of us live eternally with other councils, such as your Inner Earth Council, to assist in the perpetuation and the advancement of your planet and your species. And we are benevolent, and we are loving. And we wish you to know you are not alone. Does that help you?
It absolutely does. And also, could you bring your, would you define for our audience what Earth's mission is and why Earth is so important to your mission?
The 12 star systems that seeded this planet in the evolutionary process that was created came together and brought the foundation of their consciousness and their advancement to this particular planet. The one thing that all systems had in common was the frequency of love, the highest vibration within galactic reality. So the mission was set out for this planet to learn to be and do love in all of its various capacities. And as you are aware, that has not fully taken place, that there is a long history of wars and greed and separation and duality. So at this time, the decision is made through council interventions, various council interventions, for an alternative reality and possible solution of creating a new Earth and leaving the old Earth in place for those who so choose that reality. Hopefully that assists you.
So would it be appropriate to end this conversation with the council that what our job is to focus on that mission of love and let the divine order unfold?
And be conscious of the choice and the decision that you're making and how you wish to act, to be within that choice that you have made. Yes.
Well, Ashtar, thank you so much for this wonderful conversation. Would you add anything to what we've discussed?
You have a choice. It lies before you now. Unlike ever before, that is how much you are loved. That is how much you are appreciated through the millennia of foibles and separations you've gone through in being human. We offer our gratitude and our appreciation for that process. It has not been easy, nor is it easy now. On a cosmic, conscious level, you made that choice in your many lifetimes upon this planet and other various planets. So we salute you. I salute you as Captain Ashtar and wish you well on your cosmic journey.
Captain Ashtar, thank you for this wonderful conversation.